Mitchell.
And I'm Greg from GB Productions.
And this is a GB Productions Test Drive. So I'm here today with my dad's 2015 Dodge Grand Caravan crew model. This was a fleet vehicle, so it might not necessarily line up with the crew you might own at home, because obviously rental car companies are going to pick certain options, and they get options that you might not be able to get at a dealer. This car has the 3.6 liter Dodge Pentastar engine with 283 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. The van has a curb weight, at least base model anyway, 4,510 pounds. It has a payload capacity of 1,540 pounds, and it can tow up to 3,500 pounds, which we'll show you the trailer hitch at the back in just a moment. And your gross vehicle weight rating for this van is 6,050 pounds. Fuel economy numbers, in case you're interested, it gets 13.7 liters per 100k in the city and 9.4 on the highway, which is kind of terrible, but it's a van, so, you know.
Could be worse.
It's a little better than about a half-ton pickup truck we'll get. First unlike Cameron's car that I did this summer, this has an open engine bay, so you can actually see things in there. It's not all plastic.
Minor covers as opposed to the entire thing being sealed up.
Big beefy battery in there.
Mm-hmm. Standard airbox, no cold air intake on this one.
So this engine is naturally aspirated, obviously. It's my dad's daily driver. He wasn't going to do any modifications to it.
Gotta be reliable.
It's got 192,000 kilometers on it, so it's due for its first transmission fluid change.
Right, yeah, we were talking about doing that before, but not if you're going to be trading it in.
Otherwise, my dad's maintained it, done his own oil changes every 12,000 kilometers, I think, which is about the time you're supposed to do it on this car. Unlike my Cruise, which is like 8,000 maximum, because it's direct injection. Cooling system's never been touched on this van, 7 years old. It's supposed to be done every 10 years. I would be shocked if it made it that far, based on my experience with that BMW.
Yeah, they don't last forever.
Yeah, otherwise it's a good van. It's got quite a bit of power, as you'll see a little later. You can actually do burnouts in this thing if you want. 6-speed automatic. So now we'll head around back and show you guys the trailer hitch. Then we're going to do some nice B-roll of the car after that, so you don't have to do a slow-mo video. So here's the hitch down underneath. And you can also at that point see the suspension. It's got a solid rear axle. Not the most sporty of rear suspension setups, but I mean it is front wheel drive.
It's classic Caravan.
So as I said before, you can tow 3,500 pounds with it, but it doesn't have a very high ton weight capacity. My uncle bought a utility trailer last year that weighed like 2,500 pounds. We were going to tow it to his place, but it weighed down the back of the van so much we decided not to. And just a little tip out there, if you're towing more than 1,000 pounds, you need to have trailer brakes legally. So of course this van has electric everything, electric doors. As I open,
helps if you open the door on the side that we're on. And hatch, yeah.
They all work still perfectly.
Yeah, remotes are still good. And has this one got, I guess you'll show it eventually, has this one got the buttons inside? Yeah.
Yeah, so you just press the button here.
As long as you don't get in the way of it, it'll close.
And if you do, it'll just reopen again.
Yeah.
It does have trouble in the winter sometimes if ice builds up along the path.
Around the track, yeah.
Usually you just have to open it manually once to break all the ice and then it works fine.
Yeah.
Our 2005 Caravan was a lot worse.
That's the silver one, right?
Yes. Well, the electric doors didn't work anymore at the end, but before that point, they often wouldn't even open all the way. They'd open halfway and then come back because there was something blocking the track.
Or just really badly in need of a clean and lubrication, probably too.
Probably. It was a 10-year-old van when we stopped driving it. So next, I'm going to show you how the stow and go works. This is probably the most genius invention ever in the history of vans. Like,
Yep.
the guy at Chrysler who came up with that, I hope he got a good payday, because it makes these vans so much more useful as a utility vehicle than, say, that thing over there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how the stow and go system works. It's quite simple. So all you have to do is look under the mat here. There's a little hook. Pull that. And the seat just goes down like so.
Yeah, flip that out, yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Ta-da! And if you do that with all of them, or at least these two, and then the back goes
Back goes back into the truck.
and then you have an entire inside cargo space. I remember these from many a robotics trip.
Oh yes.
And you can do just half of it, right?
Yeah, and I believe you just have to pull this one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there you go.
Or somebody didn't
Put the headrest down.
Yeah, it just slides in.
And yeah, if you do that with all four
So
of them,
you
then
get a flat floor, and it's like, I don't remember exactly how many feet long it is.
well, the commercial always said you can fit a 4x8 sheet of plywood inside a
And
Caravan.
I believe so. I believe we have.
There you go.
Which means it's more useful than a half-ton pickup. So we'll put this back up now. So when this is up, then you get a nice big depression in there, which is useful in its own right. Normally with this van, my dad ran the back seats down.
I can remember stacking like suitcases up all the way to the roof in the back here because you could fit like 6 or 8.
Yep. Now there's a little cubby hole of stuff. My dad's got it filled with junk, obviously, naturally.
And it looks like it has the option to have another one too.
This comes off, I believe. Maybe not. No, that doesn't.
No, I think it's just, yeah, like I said, I think you could have that same option over here. That's probably what that is, because they make the panels all the same and then just cut them out if they need them.
But the rental car company didn't option that.
Right. Yeah, door button there.
And then this isn't on the 4th generation ones, the older ones, but on this generation they actually added a button here, which is great. Stand out of the way.
Please stand clear of the door.
This van also optioned the the backup camera, which came about because it has the 5-inch Uconnect screen, which we'll get to when we get inside the van here in a second. And we'll finish this off. We'll put this back seat back up so that
And those ones don't have a latch to pull it back out of the floor, right? You just lift it up.
Yep. So that, you can see that massive space compartment down there,
So you can put stuff in there when the seats are up.
which my dad normally stored a tool set down there, among other things. So now we're inside the van, and in here there's 2 glove boxes. So there's this one, and then there's another one down here, and in the side there's a cup holder, there's some space for stuff. Same thing over here. We have our old key fob from the Journey that we never got reassigned to this van. And then here's your
Climate control
system. Thanks, Greg, for the save. So it's got heated steering wheel, which is really awesome. Believe me, I used it.
Especially when it's leather. Yeah.
I used it on my way up here. It's got heated seats for both front seats, but the driver's seat one did fail. I'm guessing,
yeah, we were looking for another seat for it.
I'm guessing that's common on these vans. You got your beautiful 5-inch Dodge infotainment system, which I'll put the car into accessory.
The nice dusty screen. There you go. Oh, there's a dog coming to see what we're doing here.
So you got a radio here. So it's not as advanced as like modern vehicles that have like Apple CarPlay and all that, but it does
still have Bluetooth though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which my phone isn't connected to, but does have Uconnect phone.
Available options are frequency number, next station, previous station, radio menu, main menu, or cancel to exit.
Okay.
Cancel.
Available options are frequency number, next station, previous station, radio menu, main menu, or cancel to exit.
Cancel. It's actually pretty good.
As long as you catch it at the start of the loop.
Yes. It's a little bit more annoying than the OnStar systems. Up here it has garage door openers. We've never used them because we don't have a garage. More buttons for your automatic doors. You can turn them on or off as well. A little cabinet here. My dad put some safety glasses in. And there's also a mirror.
Yeah, it's supposed to stay part way, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you look at the mechanism track on the side there, I don't know.
Might not work anymore. Anyway, the point is that you're supposed to get a mirror there so you can see into the back seat.
And it's convex, right? So. There we go. Don't touch it again.
Maybe the coolest thing about this car, period, is this. How many OEM stereos do that?
The question is why? Oh, because the DVD's behind.
DVD players.
DVD and compact disc too. You can't really see that on here, but in there is the disc slot. So there you go.
So on this van, you can play DVD movies on it. It doesn't have the DVD players in the back though.
I was gonna say it's got the blank for it.
The compartments are there, but they're not installed. But you can just watch on the screen here.
Now, does that let you do that while you're driving though?
Only when it's in park.
Only when it's in park, which is fairly normal. Unless you splice the wires so that it doesn't do that.
Yes. And then over here in the driver's compartment, which I guess I better take the camera for this, you got your speedometer, you got your driver's information center, your gear selector is over here on this van. It's not column mounted, it's also not console mounted. It's kind of in between. It's kind of an interesting design. And then over here you got your lights. You got your light intensity for interior lights. The steering wheel, you have VR, which is voice recognition. This allows you to, and we'll start the engine here for this. That's going to beep a lot because my seatbelt's not on probably.
Only if we start to move.
So these buttons here allow you to operate the driver's information center. So for example, you can see fuel economy, which is 9.4, which isn't half bad. And then you can do trip info, which is like your odometers, the time you've been running. And then it also has one vehicle info, which allows you to see your coolant temperature, your oil temperature, your oil pressure, your engine hours.
3,291, is not bad.
Messages, that's if you have any engine lights, I believe. And you can change your units to miles if you so are inclined, which I am not. The last thing we want to look in here, there's oodles of center console space. So there's a set down there where my dad's GPS is located and dog poop bags, apparently. I didn't clean the van before I shot this video. There's another one here with masks, because, you know, we live in the times of COVID.
Some kind of a
That's classified.
It's classified.
Down here,
classified information.
there's even more.
Oh, movies.
Center console space. We have some movies. When we were driving our grandmother down to London for appointments, we'd watch movies on the screen while we were waiting. There's actually lower trim models don't have this. Like my sister's van doesn't have this. Instead, it just kind of ends, I believe.
There's no cup holders back there.
Yeah. The back seats can also adjust their temperatures, and you can lock it up here as well, the rear lock button.
And they've got vents back there to change the direction of the flow and everything.
So that about wraps up the tour here. Now we're going to rig up some cameras, and then we're going to find somewhere to drive the van, both of us. Alright, so now we're in the van and we're going to take it for a drive. I'm going to drive first and give my thoughts on the van, and then Greg's going to drive it and give his thoughts on the van. So the first thing to note is that the throttle is quite twitchy in this. It's a naturally aspirated car, so it's not going to react like a turbocharged one will, where you got that nice turbo lag. It gets going pretty good. The Pentastar engine is definitely well matched for this van. Never feel like you're lacking on power. Definitely don't think you need a V8 in a minivan, personally.
Small V8?
Small block. In terms of handling, when we get down to the corners up here, I'll have more thoughts on that. Of course, where we live is mostly just straight roads, so you got to find the curvy bits as you can, really. In terms of, as I said, acceleration is decent. It's what you'd expect out of a Dodge Grand Caravan. Braking is good in this van. A lot better than my sister's Encore, that you have to pretty much put the pedal on the floor to get anything out of it. As far as I'm aware, this van has a hydraulic rack, which means you can feel the road a lot better than an electric rack my Cruise has. In terms of bumps, the suspension's pretty soft, so bumps aren't really a problem.
If you load up the cargo to max capacity, it'll be even softer, probably, right?
Then you just bottom out.
That's a separate issue.
When we get to the corners up here, I'll have more thoughts on the steering. What I can tell you though is it's not a sports car. Like, you don't want to fling it into the corners at stupidly high speeds. Now it does have a lower center of gravity than a CUV or an SUV, especially a truck-based SUV. So, you know, it is a little sportier, I guess, than say the Chevy Equinox, which is similar size to this. But I mean, the simple rear suspension kind of prevents it from being an overly sporty like van. I suppose if you wanted a race van, you could replace that suspension with proper
Swap it out with independent, yeah. Guessing somebody's made a kit, or you can make it yourself.
Why would you race a minivan?
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm sure not too many people have done it. Yeah.
I mean, I wish Dodge would do the Hellcat van, but
Well, that's right. That was just a concept sketch, right?
yeah, they haven't actually made it.
I don't know why, but it'd be fun.
So these corners we're coming up to is where I'm going to set Greg up for his outside the car shots. Here we're going to try out the steering.
Recommended speed on this corner was 40.
I'm doing 60.
At about 60. So.
And there's not much body roll in the van. It's not like an old classic Cadillac or something where there's like body roll
just
galore.
floats around the corner. Yeah. Well, that was pretty comfortable considering we were 20 over what they were recommending.
You know, and you can feel the road because of the hydraulic rack a little better than you can with an electric one. Would I take this car on a track? Maybe, just for kicks. That one I only took at about 50 into the corner.
Yeah, and leaving at 60, so it's still
slow and fast out.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's how you're supposed to corner, if you're wondering.
Yeah.
You're also supposed to take it out in out line.
Oh, look at Mitchell with the racing skills here.
I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo lately.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's correct.
I'm going to turn around here and drop Greg off, and then I'm going to drive by a few times. Might as well turn around here.
Fall off the road or something?
Alright, now it's time for Greg's thoughts.
It's been a long time since I've driven a Caravan.
Have you ever driven a Caravan?
Yeah. You probably won't remember our 94 Plymouth Voyager. I don't think we even knew each other at that point.
You might as well head over to Highway 6 and then head back up towards.
Nicer having a hydraulic rack as far as being able to actually feel what's going on. Four-wheel disc brake doesn't disappoint. Right up to 6250.
Stop sign.
I did see the sign. I'm like, oh no, we'll just keep going.
I'd hate to see the driving instructor blow a stop sign.
We're just going straight.
Yep. The bridge, unfortunately, isn't open, so taking that road isn't worth it yet.
Right.
You just did a burnout in the Grand Caravan.
Almost. Not what I intended to do.
It's really torquey.
Like you said, it's
got a lot of power.
On the pedal a little bit. What was the word you used before?
Twitchy.
Yeah.
I guess that's how Dodge tuned it.
Well, and yeah, like my dad's truck is completely drive-by-wire, but it is a stiff pedal to push, and you cannot do it at smooth increments at all. What are you running the tires at on this right now?
They're whatever 35 was when they were put on.
So again, with that information too, that makes it even more impressive how well it handles, because generally the door post pressure is set for ride comfort, right? So if you were to put these tires up to what the sidewall says, this thing would handle like a dream.
These are Michelin's, so
What's the sidewall pressure, do you know?
they're 51 like everything else.
Yeah, no, like I said, the tire pressure makes a huge difference for people that don't realize. Like, the pressure sticker on the doorpost is from the manufacturer to make you like the car as far as a soft, comfy ride. If you want economy, or you want performance and handling, or you want your tires to last more than 50,000 kilometers, then you need to run them at a higher pressure than that. Now, assuming the tires are actually the correct size and weight rating for the vehicle, then it's no problem to run with the sidewall pressure. But if you've put a larger tire or a wider tire on a vehicle that's maybe not supposed to have it, then that's where you run into trouble. And there's actually a few vehicles that I've got that have got wider tires, so you got to run the pressure over max tire pressure. And people are going to say, oh, don't do that. Right? Not a problem if you're not over the weight capacity of the tire, in my experience at least. But yeah, if you want performance and handling, and, you know, to actually get better than, what did you say it was, 9.4
what it was.
You could probably get low 8s with the tires up at 50 or 51. It's kind of nice to be back in a Caravan again. I would never own one, but it's nice.
Well, if you had a family, it's a perfect family.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole purpose, right? And there's lots of people that took it one step further and they use it as their work vehicle because of the stow and go that we saw earlier.
Well, even then, when Ram was first separated into its own brand, Ram sold a variant of this van called I think it was the R/T or something, which was sold as like the commercial version of the Grand Caravan for electricians or whatever.
Like a work van, basically.
Yeah. Not as big as like a Chevy Express or anything, but
Well, the Chevy Express are 3/4 ton, right? So
or 1 ton.
or 1 ton. Whereas these things are not even half ton.
They're probably quarter ton.
Quarter ton rating.
So I guess final concluding thoughts.
Yeah, other than my general dislike towards minivans, I would probably, if I had the reason to have one, like a lot of people all the time, or lots of cargo that can't get wet, because that's the problem with pickup trucks, unless you're going to put a cap on the boxes
Or a tonneau cover.
It doesn't keep the cargo dry, so then you're either putting all the cargo in plastic bins or bags first, which I've done for years too. But yeah, no, it's a nice vehicle. Between having, is it seven passenger, right?
Yep.
Between having 7 passenger cargo space and then 2 still, and an entire 4x8 area for cargo when you put the seats down, is, like you said before, you can't beat it. There's no other vehicle that can match the Grand Caravan for ability.
With the exception of a 3/4 or 1 ton pickup with crew cab and 8-foot box.
Yeah, and then of course the problem there is you got such a long vehicle, you
They're
can't
very
park it anywhere.
miserable to park.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like this video, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe.
Hit that bell so you get notifications when we put new videos up.
And we're really looking for feedback on these because we're going to be doing more of them.
Yep.
So-
Do you want to see more vehicle reviews? I've got several other different cars. We were going to do a review on the Jetta, we just never got there. It's right here, right? So we'll blow by it again. But yeah, we've got lots of vehicles that we own that we could do reviews on. We can also approach, dealerships, even if it's used car dealerships, if there's a specific vehicle that...
Just park it here for now.
Leave it here for now. We've got lots more people here than when we left. But yeah, let us know what you think. And we're going to try and keep... We got lots of content to put out, and we're going to keep doing more videos and try and get some new things going too. And well, I think that'll about do it for today.
Yep.
Before we end up getting backed into or something here.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.